Hello, welcome to Seagulls Social, Season 3, Episode 19. And ladies and gentlemen, Brighton are back with a massive win over Southampton. And it was a massive win, to be honest. But before we go into it, of course, I'm joined by the boys, Ben and Maz. How are we doing, chaps? We've had our Christmases and everything else. So how have you been? How was your Christmas, lads? Start with you, Ben.
Go on, Ben. I haven't really had a Christmas. I've been so ill, mate. I've been so ill. A few days prior to Christmas Eve, I was ill. Yeah, managed to get better for Christmas Eve. Went out, and then that probably just finished me even more. So by it was like 5:30 Christmas night. Took myself to bed, couldn't sleep the whole night. Hallucinating all night, temperatures, the whole lot. And yeah, it's just been the worst Christmas holidays ever. So all good.
I do have to be that guy and say that you knew you weren't very well, but yet you still decided to go out.
Had to. Had to.
I have no sympathy for you whatsoever.
And also shout out to everyone that I saw at the Crown Rank on Christmas Eve. Corey, saw him as well. He's one of Jack Albion's mates, good lad. And then loads of other
shouting out people after he's had the flu.
Yeah. I was feeling really good after a pint, so it's second wind. Yeah.
Shouting out people after.
My Christmas has been alright. Didn't really do much, to be honest. Just went to my sister's for Christmas Day, and then I'm in Brighton, and I'm in my dad's study at the moment. I don't know if you can tell by the lovely decor.
I did say, Ryan, when you weren't on, doesn't it look like Fatboy Slim's background when he was on the podcast? If anyone remembers that episode.
Yeah, it does. I couldn't think of what it reminded me of, but now you say it's like, that is exactly it.
It'd be really embarrassing if it was like something really embarrassing in the background I didn't notice, and then like someone just puts in the comments like, "You ever seen that massive dildo in the back?" I'm like, oh god.
Why has Mad's dad got a mad zoo collection?
yeah. Or
zoo magazine, not like a
Dad, not again.
Yeah, God. Ryan?
And Ryan, how was yours?
But, mine was good, mate. I mean, we had actually a very nice little family Christmas, but then obviously going to the Southampton game on Boxing Day was way better than Christmas Day, of course, because that's what football's all about. Not the argument, right? Like, actually, this is completely sidetracked, but I was going to say anyway. People say about Boxing Day isn't about football. It just is. Like, I couldn't think of anything else on Boxing Day apart from football, and it is a football day. People that say it's a family day are wrong. It's not. It's not a family day. It's a Boxing Day. It's football. So yeah, I love football on Boxing Day. Absolute scenes. Southampton was class. Solly March scored from 25 yards. So what more can you really ask for Christmas presents, mate? Absolute scenes. And we got TSR back, so that's scenes. But yeah. Mate, best Christmas present ever. But no, very good Christmas. Probably going down in the history books, actually. A lot of good things. But yeah, talking about the game. Unbelievable, to be honest. Solly March, I said, scored from 25 yards. But Brighton in general played very well. I mean, say that. Southampton were poor. As you know, if you watch Match of the Day, they would have said exactly the same thing, because it seems like we didn't play on Match of the Day, but it is what it is. But boys, start off, because I want to hear from you. I mean, seeing De Zerbi back we saw Charlton, right? It was a bit of a stinker, but it just seemed like with Southampton, everything was clicking again. Premier League football's back. Everyone was back on top of their game, and it was completely unrecognisable to Charlton, to be honest. And yeah, start with you, Ben. What did you make of yesterday or day before's game now?
Well, yeah, like you said, the Energy Drink Cup does not count. That's a write-off. It was basically a friendly in the build-up to the Premier League. No one cares about that.
Why did I go to that, by the way? Why did I go to that game?
Because it was one of them ones. It felt like it was the MK Dons one when we brought like 80,000 people to MK Dons.
Yeah.
It did look good.
Yeah.
I did look like I missed out, but I was working, obviously. But no, about Southampton, we were incredible. We were mustard, mate. It was such a good watch. And it's the only thing that made me feel good on Boxing Day. Home alone, like I said. F's in the chat for Ben. We were so good. Glenn Hoddle even said that we looked like Man City, even in the kit that we were wearing. We were unbelievable. And yeah, I was a bit worried after Charlton, because I thought we've had all this time off and then we've slipped up against the League One side. That's Jake Fortakaskian, who I love, by the way. But we completely turned it around. And Southampton, we killed them. We absolutely destroyed them. So yeah, that was the best Christmas present I could ask for. Maz, what were your thoughts on it?
100%.
Yeah, I thought we were fantastic. I was watching it on Amazon. I was buzzing that they were showing every game, by the way, on Amazon. Amazon Prime for a 3:00 kickoff, and I was like, yeah, boy. So yeah, it was great to watch that. And yeah, we were just like from minute one, we just asserted our dominance. And yeah, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh yeah, Southampton are crap. They're not very good." Nathan Jones' first game in charge, I think, isn't it?
At home.
At home.
Yeah,
Okay,
first home game.
Right, first home game in charge. Yeah, so like everyone was sort of like trying to. I don't like it when people like sort of try and put us down and be like, "Oh yeah, like you only won because of this," and it's because Southampton were crap and it's not because you were good. Yeah, and yeah, that kind of stuff does annoy me a little bit. But yeah, I thought we were fantastic from like minute one all the way through. Really, apart from when obviously we gave away the penalty and they scored their goal, whatever. But I felt like we were never really in trouble. Like we never looked uncomfortable. We looked pretty much in control. And we played some unreal football. Like I think was it the first goal or
Lallana's header?
Nah, the
goals. To be fair,
that was poor from the keeper. To be fair, but
yeah,
I think
the build up was good.
Yeah, the build up. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, no, just all round, just great. I thought it was great to bounce back from a disappointing result against Charlton, and like a few players, especially Solly March, got a lot of stick. So for him to bounce back, the way he did,
that's true.
Yeah, like the way he bounced back from the performance against Charlton. I thought was great, and it shows
mentality.
Big middle finger to the fans. Sort of like,
speaking of bouncing, though, sorry, before we get your quick one, Brian. Obviously, we always have we always have a new manager bounce against us. But it seemed like the new manager bounce didn't exist for Southampton because they'd had this like 6 weeks of Nathan Jones. Yeah. So there wasn't even like the bounce was long gone. They'd already had loads of time to work under him.
I know.
It felt like he'd been there for ages and just wasn't working.
Yeah, I know he was here for a long time, right? But realistically, Nathan Jones at Southampton, if I was a Southampton fan, I'd be really, really underwhelmed with that. I mean, I don't think that Southampton are exactly prestige enough to be going out and looking at a great manager, but I mean, they're probably on par with us in terms of club size. They've been in the Prem for about a decade. Why wouldn't they be able to attract a better manager than Nathan Jones? I mean, he's done well at Luton, but then he went to Stoke and couldn't handle the egos there. And it makes you wonder how on earth he's going to cope at Southampton in the Premier League. I feel
like they're preparing for the Championship.
I might be wrong, but it's weird. It is. Yeah, it's really weird to take Nathan Jones on. I think
with the younger signings, I feel like that's what they're building up to then come back because they've got such a young team. And I feel like that's what they're. It feels like they're preparing for.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, like for me, they've got a lot of young players, especially like that Bella Kotchap, the centre half, the German centre half. I think he's going to be class. Like down the line, and they have got a few like Livramento even at right back, and they've got some like really
CDM
young...
Lavia. He's like a wonder kid.
Lavia, they got some really good young up and coming players, I think. But yeah, maybe is it like it's just they're not good enough right now in terms of they're not up to scratch to the Premier League standard of staying up. But then like you said, give them a season in the Championship, and they'll probably be out like go and win the league easily, and then come back. So yeah, potentially that could be a big reason. And yeah, is Nathan Jones that guy to, I suppose, blood the youth? Maybe because I know he done quite a good job at Luton with the young players. So maybe that's why they brought him in. It's like, oh, he's good at blooding the youth. Maybe that's why they brought him in for this Southampton squad. I don't know. That's just potentially.
It reminds me a little bit of when Newcastle took on Eddie Howe. And to be fair, I was the first person to say I didn't think that was good at all. I really thought it was going to be terrible. And I hold my hands up and say I was definitely wrong there. Because I thought that Eddie Howe was sort of like the Bournemouth manager that took a small club to the heights of the Prem, did very well, then sort of ran out of steam towards the end, and that was it. He's gone to Newcastle, by far a huge club in the league, and is doing really well. But I think that Nathan Jones almost reminded me of that at Luton, small club sort of thing, lots of hype, lots of passion merchant vibes, and then fell off when he went to a bigger club. But maybe I'm wrong. He might turn out to be a great manager. You never know. But it does seem a bit weird for me. Yeah. But here we are. I'm not talking bad on Nathan Jones as a guy, but just as a manager, I feel
I get exactly where you're coming from. It's like, for example. Because we were linked with Nathan Jones, weren't we? So it's like if we were to get Nathan Jones, and let's say De Zerbi went past us, I think I'd be gutted because I'd be like, well, let's try De Zerbi because he reminds me of like a Gus Poyet. He gives me like good vibes in that sense, and I feel like.
By the way, Maz, while you're on that, Gus Poyet was at the Southampton game. Absolutely class. By the way, he got a great reputation. Reputation.
He was doing the punditry.
Reception from the Brighton fans. Oh yeah. He was at Amazon.
Yeah, he was on the commentary team. Yeah, he was on the commentary team. But yeah,
they couldn't shut him up as well. By the way, he could not. He was constantly talking. I feel like the presenter was like, "Please, we got to go to an ad break." Like, it's just Gus will just keep talking and keep talking.
Really?
Yeah, he's the radio, isn't he? He's got the nickname for a reason. I was going to say something. What were you just talking about, Ryan? Before we went to Gus Poyet, was Nathan Jones and the managers.
Maz was.
Maz was. Sorry, that's my brain.
Nathan Jones.
It just reminded me of our post Potter episode when we were talking about managers coming in. And it was like we were linked with Phil Neville, Nathan Jones, and I was literally thinking, God, we are so screwed. But now look at us, mate. Look at us.
Yeah, no. I think that's testament.
I think
that's testament to Tony Bloom as well, like making that right call. And he's consistently in the last 5 years or longer, especially since year we got promoted. He's just made constantly good decisions. Like no matter who we've lost, who's who's been sold, who's left, who's been poached, he's always come out on top. And I feel like not every club's unfortunately as lucky as us to have an owner as good as Tony Bloom. So I think we're quite lucky in that sense to have a great owner.
Yeah, I agree. And anyway, get on into the game. I mean, true dominance, to be honest. From start to finish, we were by far the better team. Southampton definitely were not on our level that day at all. Probably not on Premier League level overall. But I think, you can't take anything away from how we played. I thought, you could pick out a lot of our young players as well. Obviously, Levi Colwell was only 19. And I thought he played pretty well. I don't think it was his best game, but I thought he was pretty solid. Played well at Charlton as well, because I probably should touch on Charlton as well, because it was only like a few days ago. But I thought overall we were so good. Pascal Gross, Adam Lallana ran midfield. I think when Lallana went off, it was a little bit shaky. Maybe Jeremy Sarmiento took the few minutes to get into the game, and then he was class. Mitoma was fantastic.
Mitoma was fantastic. So good. He was literally like running around the players like Maradona. Like that first one when he just Bazuni made a good save right at the beginning. Then even after that, he was just dribbling through players for fun. I was like, how has this bloke just come out of nowhere? Yeah. It's so crazy to think that we've just got another gem. Like last year, what was he? Is it half a season or the full season on loan at USG? And we saw glimpses, but we weren't like, is he going to be good enough in the Prem? He's just got even better somehow. I don't understand how we keep doing it with these players. It's actually bonkers, but we do have an incredible
to add to that, Ben. Yeah, we've got Simon Adingra at the minute doing bits at USC still the other day.
Forgot about it,
Another one that could be even recalled in January. And also Jeremy Sarmiento came on with his last sort of 15 minutes and I thought was really strong. As I say, it maybe took a few minutes to get into the game, but he came on in a time where Southampton were fighting back a little bit. But overall, I thought he played well, strong, lots of skill, very quick, good turn of pace, good ball control as well. I thought overall Jeremy Sarmiento was very bright, alongside Evan Ferguson, who I actually did an article about because I actually asked Roberto De Zerbi because I went to the press conference a few days ago, and I asked De Zerbi about sort of Evan Ferguson, and we can get a Seagulls Social exclusive here as to what we think, what his philosophy is with Ferguson, and he said that he surprised him and was really genuinely surprised by Ferguson. He said he knew he'd seen him in the Forest Green game and the under-23s. He said, but when he played him at Charlton, he was really excited and said that he wants these young players to be able to go out there fearless and not think of what could happen, what he could do wrong. And that to me, he said not only the young players that he wants to focus on, he wants to focus on the younger players, which I thought was a really good little thing to say. The fact that it's not even just the 20-year-olds, he wants to look at the 17-year-olds and the under-18s that are performing as well. And I think that that's just like absolute testament to De Zerbi, and he's not afraid to throw them in when they, if they feel they can step up.
And it suits our club culture, though, doesn't it? And our philosophy, like breeding these youngsters. Yeah, we've got a young team as it is, but we've got like Andrew Moran on the bench as well. And that might be because Alexis isn't there, of course, but he's still been putting a lot of youngsters on the benches, which is really good to see.
Yeah. And it's exciting, mate. Like, genuinely, when you say you've got Ferguson, you've got Sarmiento, even Mitoma, I know he's not in that bracket of young players, but all these players that we haven't really seen too much, and obviously we've got the likes of Leandro Trossard, Alex McAllister being linked away. You've still got, Caicedo as well, who's only 21. You've got so many of these young players that are able to step up, and even below that, and even in the under-18s that could just be thrown into the Premier League at any given moment. Like, we couldn't even tell you what the starting 11 could be by April. It's mad.
Yeah, and also as well, I just wanted to touch on even, you talk about Levi Colwell coming in, and obviously Alan Webster's had his injury problems, which I think we should touch on as well, just in a minute. But with regards to having that strength in depth, I would love to see Van Heck play a little bit more, because it's like obviously Colwill is great and he's actually been fantastic, but he's not gonna be our player next season. So it's like,
I think he is though. I was going to ask this later in the episode.
Yeah,
I think we will sign him permanently. Like, if you look at the players that said Chelsea keep getting linked with like the Vardio, they are very close to signing the Monaco centre back. I think they're linked with another centre back. There's no way Colwill's getting in the team. I genuinely think that we've got him. I'd really,
that's fair.
That's pretty much confirmed.
But just think, like, for example,
I feel like comments.
No, sorry, just like, okay, if we do get him, great, that'd be class, because I think he's actually a really good player. But let's say if we don't, then it's like we built this player up a whole season, and then he's just gone, and it's like, well, we could have built up one of our other centre backs, the young, like a Van Heck, for example. So I don't know. That would be my only thing. Is like, can we get him minutes somehow? And obviously we're out of the Carling Cup, the League Cup now.
Energy Drink Cup.
Yeah, the Energy Drink Cup now. But like, yeah, will he get a chance at any other time? I don't think so now. Like, when will he get a chance to play, really?
I hear your point, Maz, and I think that the only thing that I think is he's clearly very good. He's got a very high ceiling because he's 19 years old, and Van Heck's 22. So the fact that he's 3 years younger than him and is being thrown in alongside Dunk week in, week out goes to show, for the sake of the team, it makes sense, because you don't want to jeopardise potentially us and our league position for someone just because he's one of our own.
No, of course.
You've got someone that's more than capable of doing better than him. But I get your point. I agree with you, to be honest. I think that, in the long run, it's frustrating. But I think also, it just seems so not Brighton-like to sign him from Chelsea and then on loan and then send him straight back. It just doesn't seem like us.
I think
I saw an article
when it first happened.
Colwill,
I felt like we were going to screw up though. I thought we did just get a loan and we were shafted because of the Cucurella deal. But I think I'm confident that we will get him.
Well, I saw, and I saw Colwill did a thing back after he got promoted with Huddersfield, and he said that he wants to be part of Chelsea's first team plans. Otherwise, he doesn't want to be there, and he's not afraid to leave. And we saw it with Tarek Lamptey, we saw it with Tino Livramento. We've seen it with many Chelsea youngsters recently that are actually happy to just say, do you know what? I ain't waiting around for 5 years just to have a chance of getting in the first team.
As well.
Especially if they're signing Vardio and stuff. Gilmore, So, Gilmore won the Champions League literally a year and a half ago. So, it's things like that. I think these players aren't exactly hooked on Chelsea. They're just there, and they're part of a massive pool of talent that, if they did let Colwill go, let's face it, they've got another 16 new 18-year-old centre-backs that are willing to take his spot anyway. So I don't think that, although they make out that he's their star gem, and I just think that if we put the right offer in, and he does generally like it here, and I think that he does, I've particularly mentioned it on Twitter, saying that him and Dunk alongside each other every week seem to be improving. I mean, I think at first it was a little bit touch and go, but they've come on leaps and bounds together, and you can tell that once you get a connection with these two centre-halves, it's hard to just rip that apart, I think. And I hope, anyway, I might just be talking through my heart.
On that, Ryan, do you, this is like to both of you, do you think then now, because let's say Colwill just goes from strength to strength with Dunk and they get this really good partnership, and obviously Webster's had all his injury worries, if we said at the beginning of the season, Adam Webster and Lewis Dunk, they would definitely be our number one starting partnership, right? Like centre-back partnership. But now, with all his injuries and obviously Colwill playing really well and the form, does Webster get back in the team if he's fit?
Right now?
Not yet. I don't think he can. Yeah. Go on, Ben, you go.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if he can. And also, remember we were linked with that Ukrainian centre-back as well, and I imagine we will probably still go in for him, whether it will be in Jan or probably in the summer. So that will be another big centre-back in the way, trying to fight for a place in the first team. I really like Adam Webster. Yeah. I think it's only going to benefit us as a club to have so many options. Let's face it, Lewis Dunk's still unbelievable, but he's getting older. There will be a time when he starts to peter off a bit. Yeah. I guess we just got to prepare for that, and maybe this is the beginning of it, because he's not going to be playing at this level, even though somehow he's still playing so well at his age. So, yeah, I think we just got to prepare for him to leave, haven't we?
As a prime example of
that's true.
Dunky's the same age as me, mate. You're making me feel.
Yeah, I know, but you're not a footballer, Baz, you know. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get your points, and I think that with Webster, it's a shame because I said we've always gone on about Webster. We've always loved him on the pod since back in 2020. And as much as you would love to keep him in there. The injuries are so hard to ignore when he just keeps getting injured. And it must be so frustrating for him because he's then got to come back, be shaky for a few months before he gets back into match fitness. And it's a bit of a vicious cycle for him because he seems to do that, have a bad sort of few games, then get good again, then get injured. And it's a shame. But if you've got Levi Colwill there, who is 19 and, might cost us 30 million, but it's 30 million I'd spend in a heartbeat, to be honest. And I think probably the club would agree with me on that because I just think that for 19 years old to be starting in the Premier League, and yes, he has his mistakes and he's not perfect by any means, but he's 19. He's 3 years younger than I am, and that to me is like, well, he's good enough to be in and around our squad. I think if we can get him down on a deal, but we'll see. It's a long January. I think. I feel like we'll go on to transfers probably next episode, but it's going to be hopefully a good January anyway. But before we do that, let's talk about the rest of the game. Obviously, Solly March has to be mentioned. Adam Lallana has to be mentioned, I think. We'll talk about Solly, though. To come back after Charlton, terrible penalty. Genuinely one of the worst penalties I've seen. And
do you reckon he actually broke someone's nose?
Do that. I don't know. Is that a rumour then on social media?
I think I saw a joke. It must have been a joke on Twitter, obviously, because at some point probably would have posted a picture if he actually did. But yeah, that penalty, because there was someone filmed it so perfectly behind the goal, it just flies over the bar, and you see everyone. You hear people laughing, like because Brighton fans are used to this sort of stuff on penalties.
Yeah,
you just hear it on penalty shootouts anyway.
Yeah.
You just hear people laughing, just thinking, for fuck's sake. But yeah, like you said, he came back and got an assist within 14 minutes, and then scored a worldie. So it's a great way to shut up the critics.
Exactly, and I think it's a mentality thing, as Maz said. And I was standing next to a guy called Josh, who's out Josh at Charlton, and he loves the pod. And we just said to each other once, March, I think he missed a massive chance as well in the game. And then he missed the penalty, and we were just like, he's actually never going to score, is he? Like, he's just completely cursed. And for everything he's done so well today, he's been so good. I was like, oh my God, 58 games, I think it was, before he finally scored. But what a way to do it. I mean, we see it so many times where he cuts on his left foot and puts it wide or puts it over the bar. But finally it went in off the sort of top bin. I'm going to call it a top bin. But the most sort of significant part of that, I think, is Roberto De Zerbi come out after the game and said that Solly March is capable of scoring these sort of goals week in, week out. He's capable of doing this all the time, but maybe it's just a self-belief thing. And I think that even Graham Potter said that when he was here. Do you think that De Zerbi, I think anyway, I don't know what you guys think, is he's got that sort of ruthlessness, the directness that we've been on about so much. Can he get that out of Solly now? We've seen that he can score now from 30 yards out. Can he keep that going and have that ruthlessness back into Solly, Maz?
I think, it's a tough one because, we'll never truly know what he's like in training, like we can only see what he's like, in games. And I suppose it's how does he, like, what's De Zerbi like with him once he's got off that pitch? He's then in the training ground with him. He's like, right, okay, look, now you've got to kick on. I want more output from you. We don't know. Maybe even De Zerbi might be saying, actually, do you know what? I'm really happy with how you contribute to the team. I know you're not been scoring goals and maybe not getting as many assists as you want, but you work hard for the team. Because, in my opinion, he does bring a lot to the team. I know his output's not great, and it's obvious to see. Like, his output is not good at all. But he does actually get into really good positions. He works his fucking socks off. And, like, there is a reason why he's in the starting lineup most weeks. Like, why would De Zerbi be starting him most weeks? There's obviously a reason
Maz,
for that.
As you say, like... Yeah, and De Zerbi called him out, didn't he, when he first signed? He literally said, we've got good players like Solly March when he first signed. That was his first interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's the key thing. I think it's like, okay, granted, his output's not great, but you've got to look at what does he bring to the team overall. And I think that's what De Zerbi likes about him, is like his work rate, his effort, his positioning, all these other attributes which, a lot of people actually, don't give credit for. And I think that's what keeps him in the side, essentially. So I think one thing, De Zerbi will be saying to him is, I just want more output from you, more assists, more goals. And if you can do that, obviously he'll be like one of the best players in the Premier League, let alone best players at Brighton. So
best player in the Premier
League. It's one of those things. Just for me, his output needs to be better. That's the one thing I think De Zerbi will want to try and get out of him, is just get more goals and assists. As simple as it sounds.
For sure. And Ben, do you think that that's now the platform for him? A goal and an assist, and they did it in style as well. It was a great ball in for Lallana, great goal. Is that the moment now where the self-belief is there now. It has to be for Solly. I mean, you can see that you can put a good ball in the box, and you can see that you can also finish from 25 yards out. Is that the platform now from De Zerbi to say, look, we're going to get this out of you and we're going to make you into a proper out-and-out winger?
No, I hope so. I think he's always had the self-belief, which is why he's always been the scapegoat, and he still comes back and still plays all the time. Because some players might not take well to that. Well, they probably don't anyway, but Solly constantly plays even when that's going on. And we'll always see it on Twitter. People hate him. Well, a lot of people do anyway. And he just doesn't really get him down clearly. But on the goals and assists, I don't know if this will make him score more or get more assists. You'd hope so. But he always gets himself in the positions to do so. He will always miss a sitter. Like even before his goal in the first half, like the ball rolled along across the line, and you just think, oh, maybe you can get a tap in, but the defender scores an own goal instead. And there were just times where you're thinking, oh, it's just never going to happen for him. And it was a bit like Neil Maupay when like he in front of goal in like the 6-yard box, he can't score, but he only scores worldies. And I think that's similar to Solly March. He just maybe just gets a little bit flustered when he's too close to the goal.
Yeah,
I hope so. Obviously, I hope he does get some more goals and assists because he does deserve it for the effort he puts in.
He deserves it. And also, if you look at his, like, I'm just looking at his all-time Premier League stats. Yeah, so out of 157 appearances, he scored 5 goals and he's got 13 assists. Which, if you like look at it on face value, that isn't great. Do you know what I mean? So I think if he can get that, but like if you look this season, that's all seasons, and then this season he's had 3 assists, 1 goal out of 15 games, which again isn't great. But I wouldn't say it's awful.
Very good for him.
Yeah, like it's not great, but it's not awful. I think to get 3 assists and a goal so far in a very sort of stop-start season, you never know. Like he can kick on. So yeah, I just want him to be.
That's a good point, actually.
And just kick on.
Yeah, and Maz, as you say about stop-start season, like you completely forget we just had a World Cup, which is mad.
Yeah.
Like we're back in the season again now, and we've just had a massive World Cup. Probably, to be fair, one of the greatest World Cups ever. At least in a long time, I think. It's been one of the most enjoyable in my lifetime. But this isn't a World Cup part, I'm just saying. But to again, then come back into the Premier League. Yes, it was a tough time out at Charlton, and it was hard to watch at times. And then to come to Southampton, which is not easy. We've not beaten Southampton much in the Premier League. In fact, we've only beaten them once before this, and especially under Potter. It was so frustrating to watch us against Southampton. Potter always seemed to have the few teams that he could never beat, and Southampton and Palace always seem to be the ones. But De Zerbi did it first go, and 3-1, it could have been 4 or 5, or even 6, to be fair. I mean, if Mitoma's header at the back of the net, I think that would have been game, set, and match, and we could have even gone and hit a few more. But I just think that overall, as a football club, we just every time I watch this, I just feel so comfortable, and especially these away days, I'm just like, I'm feeling positive. I don't see any. Yeah, no hyper. I don't see any real weak links in that side at the moment.
Did you see? Apart from perhaps, I was going to say, did you see Naylor's tweet after the game? It was like everyone's saying we need a number 9. Look at us, like scoring loads of goals from the midfield or whatever.
I saw it. Yeah.
I get it. I get what he's saying, but we still just need stronger depth up front as a striker. That's it.
I think the penalties proved it, Ben. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's the key thing. It's like what you just said, Ben. It's the strength and depth. It's like, okay, cool, we're scoring goals, great. But let's say one of those players gets injured. Let's say a Mitoma, a Trossard, a McAllister when he's back. Like one of those players gets injured, we're in trouble. So and it's
we were playing Trossard up front against Southampton, and he didn't have the best of games, by the way. And so, like, imagine if we didn't have him, like you said, and Welbeck wasn't fit, like he wasn't. Who are you playing up front?
That's the key. That's exactly it. Like we just need strength and depth. It's like, okay, cool. One of our players gets injured, we can call up on a decent backup striker, and you're not thinking, oh mate, Welbeck's injured, this person's injured. Oh, we don't have anything. We're gonna have to go out and play with, I don't know, Lallana up top or something crazy. So it's like you just don't want to be left in that position. I get what Naylor's saying, but it's like you don't want to be left, with players that don't play up front. And
we know De Zerbi's interested in a number 9 because he said it before the World Cup, didn't he? He was like that was an area that he wanted to strengthen in. Whether he still does, I hope he still does, and I think the fans will hope he still does. Even though we're scoring goals from other positions, which is something we used to struggle doing.
Get Enner Valencia in, mate. Get
Enner Valencia, West Ham. He went to West Ham. That was ages ago as well, when he was at West Ham.
Yeah, he was at West Ham.
Anyway. Yeah, get us a nice number 9.
But Yeah, so to go off it, I want to actually ask you a different question, each of you boys, because we always talk about who's been the stars and who's shone the most. I want to actually ask you who you think the most sort of underrated of the game was, rather than talking about who is the most obvious. And particularly, I might even do this a bit more, because I think it's quite good to just get different opinions. So who do you think was perhaps the one that didn't get the plaudits yesterday that deserved it? Because, you know, we probably don't mention Solly March enough on the best of times, and then today we mentioned Solly March because he's scored a worldie goal. And whereas, you know, most of the time he has a great game, no one even talks about it. Or Joel Veltman, for example. I want to ask you, Maz, because you look like you're thinking. So who do you think sort of is the most
Cheers, mate.
underrated?
I am thinking. I'm just looking stupid.
You can't tell when Ben's thinking.
Yeah. I'm just like this.
You literally mentioned him. I was going to say Joel Veltman.
Yes.
With Joel Veltman, he had a bit of a not a rocky period, but like there was a few games where even us lot on the pod were like, he's not maybe playing the best he can, and you know he had a bit of a purple patch, but in the wrong way. I feel like not yesterday, day before yesterday, I thought he was just solid, like all round solid. Didn't put a foot wrong, got an assist as well, and it was just a good all round performance. I think without being too sort of Joel Veltman, like what an absolute world he had. Do you know what I mean? It was one of them. It was one of those performances where he just got his done his job and got an assist out of it, and like he was just all round solid.
I think he's been playing like a 7 out of 10 or 7 and above out of 10 for like the past feels like 60 games for Brighton. He is that guy that just constantly is so consistent, and because he's so consistent, like Pascal Gross, he gets overlooked a lot of the time. Joel Veltman was going to be mine. I think their only threat was that Fanda Badozi guy, and he locked him up really, really well. And obviously, again, we could talk about the penalty, but Pascal Gross, he's probably another guy that went under the radar. Him and Caicedo ran that midfield. Southampton did not know what to do with any of them, and it was it was really a joy to watch. But give yours, Ryan, and then let's talk about that penalty incident.
Yeah, mine was actually going to be Veltman. I just didn't mean to mention it like I did. I was meant to say Veltman. I thought, to be fair, actually, Robert Sanchez made some good saves, and I was actually going to mention the penalty. Because he's finally saved the penalty. He actually saved the penalty, like mad.
Yeah. I got penalty save points on my FPL. I was buzzing.
But
it went straight back to James Ward-Prowse. Which is like, it's so frustrating because he'll be looking at that gutted that he didn't tip it around the post and maybe he should have got a better hand on it. But he finally saved one, and it was a shame it went straight back to Ward-Prowse, who always seems to score against us, Ward-Prowse, even when maybe he wasn't having his best game. He's actually a Ward-Prowse. I don't know where he'll go if Southampton go down. But that'll be interesting.
Sanchez should have done it
any day of the week.
Sanchez should have done Emi Martinez and just like threw the ball away and then done a little shimmy. Before the.
I think Maz. I think Sanchez done enough, to be honest, mate. He lost his head, didn't he? He lost his cool so much. I was like,
that's what I was going to say.
I actually got annoyed at him because I was like, mate, you're an idiot. If you're about to get sent off here and throw away the game.
Oh my god,
the Che Adams thing. I was actually livid with him.
I was going to say, should he have been sent off, guys? Because I couldn't see from where I was.
Don't think so.
No, it would have been really harsh. But Dunk. Because you can see from obviously live, they zoom in obviously, and you can see Donkey literally going, "You're gonna get sent off." So he was grabbing and going, "You're gonna get sent off. You're gonna get sent off."
Yeah.
But like, if it wasn't for Donkey, he actually would have just lost his head, and Donkey literally grabbed him.
Dunk was fuming with the guy. I swear he was called like a fucking idiot, didn't he?
Because he was literally saying, he was going, "You're gonna get sent off." Like, what more can I say to you for you to calm down?
Yeah.
Unless you stop being an idiot, you're going to get sent off. So I thought that was good leadership from Duncan, to be fair. Like, took him away from the situation, told him like stop being an idiot. But no, I don't think. I think if he was to be sent off, I think it would have been supremely harsh.
It's because Che Adams like kicked him, didn't he? When the ball, like the referee blew his whistle for the foul, and then Che Adams like kicked him, and then Sanchez was like, "What the hell are you doing?" So he kind of pushed him. He didn't even
he sort of just went like that a little bit, like just. Yeah. It was like a
whilst
barely
he's on the
a
ground,
push.
it's like, what are you doing?
It was never a sending off.
I was like, what, mate? I didn't realise he had a hot head like that, Sanchez.
Fans are giving it a large.
Nah. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I didn't realise he would lose his cool like that, and they played on it a lot. But the penalty, Ryan, 50-50 for me. I feel like Edozie literally I think like the ball was a 50-50 because he wasn't really in possession with it. He got past Veltman. The ball was getting away from him. and Pascal Gross just happened to be standing there, and they just went into each other like that.
Yeah.
I think it was really harsh to give a penalty.
I think that too. From where I was like, that is not a penalty, surely. And then because I was like, get up, like I thought he just like jumped over him, sort of thing. I couldn't see that they collided, and then when I saw that they collided on the replays, I still think that just looks like a 50-50. It's almost as like they ran into each other. I don't think that there's any malice in it from either side. I think that it was just they just hit each other, and then the ref just thought it was obstruction. I guess maybe that's the only way that can be given, but. I don't know. I suppose when it's given, you can't really. They don't overturn it on VAR.
You can't just run into a defender and then go down and expect a penalty. That's what I didn't get.
Yeah.
And even Gus Poyet, he was
annoyed.
Annoyed. He said it wasn't a penalty, and obviously I believe everything Gus says because he's a legend. I noticed actually, maybe it's on Amazon they spelt his name Poyet. I don't know if that was anything. I don't know if that was I don't know if it was like a joke because of the Palace thing, but yeah, it's quite funny.
I don't think they purposely.
Oh god, yeah. I doubt it though. Yeah.
Matt, you reckon it was a pen?
About Poyet actually, but I did my brain. Oh, sorry. You got on, Matt. Yeah, you said about the pen. We'll talk about Poyet after.
Well, what do you want? What do you want from
the
me?
pen, the Dozy, gross.
Oh right, yeah, no. Sorry, yeah, I agree with. Sorry, I didn't know what was going on then. No, Ben. I think Ben
was lagging.
Spot on. I think it was one of those ones where it's like. If it's given, it's given. If it's not, I'll be like, okay, cool. I understand both ways. I think it was one of them ones where I wasn't too pissed off. I think at the point obviously we're 3-0. We're 3-0 up? Yeah, we're 3-0 up at the point. So I was a bit like,
3-0 up.
Okay,
yeah.
If we screw this up, obviously I'll look back on it and be like, well, oh no, it was never a penalty. Yeah. But I think at the time I was a bit like, okay, it is what it is kind of thing. Let's just see the game.
It's annoying, Maz, isn't it? Because just before that, it was Mitoma's header, and that should have probably been 4. And then they literally ran up the other end and had a penalty, which was, again, whether it was or not, I don't know. But it's so frustrating. Mitoma did everything right in that game. Everything right. It was all over the place, running defenders ragged, so fantastic as he always seems to be. And then the header from about 6 yards out puts it wide. I thought that was it, if I'm honest. But can I actually just say, the Southampton fans are actually just comical. They're so funny. They're just so stupid. It's actually funny. So they're singing like the South Coast is Arsenal, this and whatever, and piping up and stuff. And the thing is, they had to put a bigger barrier this year than last, because last year there's actually people trying to jump it. But then they literally started fighting each other. Like, literally proper fighting each other. There were proper punches being thrown. They're proper fighting. Mate, I was standing there like a proper idiot. And I had my phone out like this, and go on.
No, go on.
All right, I was having my phone out like this, right, and I just realised I didn't have the button pressed, so I was standing there with my camera open, but I didn't press record, so I was like proper like old dad thing there, and I was just there like for like a good 2 minutes, not even recording.
Just doing a selfie video, just filming your own face.
I never take my phone out of games. I was just because I never get my phone out of games, so I was just trying to like half look at the game. I was like, oh god, but yeah.
I saw that. I saw
Southampton fans are comical, mate.
I saw a video of that on Twitter of them fighting, and then I saw loads of comments like going, "Oh no!" Like all these Southampton fans like, "No, it was actually Brighton fans that infiltrated our stand and started fighting." I was like, "What are the chances of that actually?"
Yeah, some of them did.
True.
Oh, did they?
Some of them did. I think some of them jumped, I think some of them jumped that tried to jump, and then I don't even know if they did get through. I think one did get through and tried to just take the whole lot on.
I don't think that video. Though, I don't think that video contained any Brighton fans. I think that was actually just Southampton fans.
No, I don't know.
Brighton fan
I don't know. I just saw everyone scrapping.
The home end. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I saw there was probably about 3-4 people got taken out from the Brighton end. I think it was 6 in the end actually. Of Brighton fans that got taken out. It's always a fun away day, Southampton. It's always funny to watch because they just seem to have like a bunch of 14-year-olds who just want to start giving a load of homophobic abuse or whatever it might be. It's always quite funny to watch. But anyway, we'll move on, boys. What a day out, by the way. Fantastic Christmas present. Oh, what fun it is to see Brighton win away. And
so good.
We'll move on to Arsenal on New Year's, which is a massive, massive game because I'm worried. I'm not going to lie, because we don't have Caicedo and we don't have McAllister. And that midfield is going to be vacant, to be honest. Caicedo's out, and so's McAllister, obviously, because he's on holiday.
Where's he gone?
Because I think Caicedo's got 5 yellows.
Shit.
So, obviously,
Did he get
McAllister's... Yeah. Whether we call...
Yeah,
I think so.
Right at the end.
Oh,
mate, so frustrating. I saw De Zerbi was fuming about it. So yeah, very annoying. We don't have Caicedo or Alexis, so we're gonna have to potentially rely on Gilmore or obviously Gross and Lallana.
That's true.
But against Arsenal, who are banging form at the moment, but I mean, you never know. These are the sort of games where a player like Gilmore steps up and has a blinder.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But we've got to hope for the best here. But our faith is in you, Billy. To be honest, to say the least.
I believe
it's a big one for him to come in, though, isn't it? Because obviously, didn't he have a really, really good game for Chelsea? That wasn't his big standout game when he played against Arsenal, when
the
FA Cup
or
right. Cup.
I think it was against Arsenal, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was against Arsenal. But I think, this is one. Like I said, this is one for him to step up, and I'm sure he'll be relishing the opportunity. He said, I do get a lot of similarities to him and Alexis playing that deeper role, so it's almost like a like for like change in that respect. And I think out of everyone, he would be the one that I'd like to see come in. Because he deserves a chance, I think. He's a good little player. Yeah. He did come on against him in the League Cup, didn't he? Played all right.
My only worry is that because of how we play, we are not reliant on some of these players, but like Caicedo, when he's not in the team, you really notice it.
Caicedo's huge, isn't he?
Yeah, that's my only sort of worry is if without Caicedo, it's like how do we adapt then for Gilmore to come in? Because Gilmore's not the same as Caicedo. Like they're very different players. In the style of how they play. So I think it's just like you're never going to have a like-for-like replacement for some of these players. So that's my only worry is, with Caicedo being out, obviously no McAllister against a very good Arsenal side, as Ryan mentioned. My only worry is, how do we then go about that? What's the game plan? Do we change system? Do we change, does De Zerbi just completely swap loads of players out and all that? So, that's my only worry is that consistency of having the same sort of team, so to speak. I am slightly worried. I'm not going to.
We wiped the floor with him at the Emirates.
But that was the League Cup, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention Ben.
True.
I have a good stat actually about Arsenal. Only 3 teams have beaten them at the Emirates this year, 2022, and we were one of them, obviously. But we've actually beaten them twice this year, so that actually goes to show how fantastic we are. But also. Yeah, we have a good record against Arsenal. I always do feel somewhat like, okay, we could get something there. We always seem to do well against them for some reason, but they are a different beast now. They have Thomas Partey on absolute fire. Not to mention the likes of Ben White, who I really, really hope, Ben White doesn't get booed again like he did last year. Because I really didn't understand that. And when we went to Arsenal away in the league, he gave a good reception to the Brighton fans, came over and applauded us, and we all gave it back to him. I hope that stays for the home game because there's a lot of fickle fans out there who will boo him, and I hope that he doesn't get booed. He's not on the same level as Cucurella.
I would be surprised if they did boo him.
So I hope he does.
Was it? It was only like a small section of fans that booed him. But it was only the small section of fans that done it last year, wasn't it? Stupid to boo Ben. Why would you boo Benjamin White? He's done literally nothing wrong.
He's not done anything wrong, has he? I couldn't hate on him for leaving as well. To go to that Arsenal team, it's clear something special was happening there. We got 50 mil. Like he didn't disrespect us. I just think that he gave full credit to us as a club for raising him as well, and when he went to England. So I just think that you've got to like him, and
Yeah. Also, as well, I just don't think he gives a fuck. Like he's outrightly come out and said,
I know what you mean.
No, but he's outrightly come out and said, he goes, I don't like football. Like he doesn't actually like football. He just does it as a job. So like for him, it wouldn't have been any ill intention towards us. Like it would have just been like, look, I'm making a career move, like to make more money. This is literally he looked at it as a job move, as in like I'm going to make more money.
He didn't put a load of transfer requests in either, did he, Maz?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he left because he wanted to leave.
Exactly. Like he just there. I think in his brain, he's like, "Look, I just want to be somewhere where I get paid the most money for doing a job I don't particularly like." So,
you gotta respect it.
I don't think he was ever like any kind of malice towards Brighton whatsoever.
Also, he left the England squad, didn't he, early? And he was just like, and then he put on his story of a picture of him in the Arsenal kit being like ready for action. Like, I think he's just. He seems like a very good professional like that.
I've got a theory.
I've
got a theory. I think
you're allowed to say it live on air.
Live on air. I think when obviously he didn't get a game. He didn't get a look in. I don't think he was ever going to get a look in. And obviously with I know that he's obviously publicly come out and said he doesn't enjoy football. I think what he's thought is, why am I here? Like, why are you not giving me a chance? He's then had a bust up with whatever staff members.
Apparently he had a bust up with Steve Holland. Don't know.
Well, there you go, Steve Holland. And he's like, like, why am I here, basically? If I'm not going to play, why am I here? I could rather be in Mykonos or wherever. like, why am I here? I might as well leave. So I think that's how, and that's why he's left. I generally think that is a bit that is why.
The Mykonos, he just couldn't hack being away from Mykonos one summer. Love
that. Do you know what I mean? Or Ibiza or something.
He obviously wasn't getting a good enough tan in Dubai or Doha, wherever he was. He thought, I need to get that Mykonos tan.
Yeah. That's my theory.
But yeah, Ben White returns to the Amex. That should be, I hope he does get a decent reception. I'll clap him if people clap him around.
Yeah,
I would. But yeah, Ben White comes back. Arsenal comes to the Amex. So, to be honest, I feel like there's a chance.
Like Arsenal.
Today I feel Arsenal. No, but I think there's a chance. There's a chance for every time we play football. I am a little bit like, it's the Derby. Anything can happen. As long as we go for it, we can get something. But as I said, Arsenal are a different beast at the moment, and there's nothing to be ashamed of if we lose this game. People can't be saying De Zerbi out or anything stupid, because this is a different Arsenal team. I do feel like they're going to come to the Amex and try to dominate. Saka's on fire. To be honest, the whole team's on fire.
No Gabby Jesus though, Ryan. No Gabby Jesus, and Nketiah did score. I didn't personally rate him too well when he played against West Ham, but obviously he did score. I think he did come into the game a little bit better. But they've got Nketiah. They haven't got Gabriel Jesus. I think that's like the only person they're missing actually.
But to be fair, Nketiah's goal against who did they play the other day?
Mate, that was a real goal.
Yeah, West Ham. That goal against West Ham was unreal. Yeah. Like, I was like, Nketiah has literally just gone.
That was a nice goal,
and it was a great goal.
Yeah. I don't really know. They have got a very solid team. The younger is it the youngest team?
Yeah, youngest team in the Premier League. Yeah,
sick. It's respect to that. I do love to see shit like that. Saliba's solid, but like I said, I know it was the League Cup. Yeah. The players will believe that they can do it again because it was a strong team he played in the League Cup, so they'll have it fresh in their minds that they can play well against Arsenal. So that will only work in our benefit as well. If Mitoma can play like he did when we played him at the Emirates, then mate, we should have a fun time. Where there should be some. I think there will be goals in the game. I don't think it'll be a boring one.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, no, I agree. It should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. To be honest, it's a New Year's game. It's always going to be fun. 5:30 kickoff, fireworks if we win. But no, I think that I'm going to go score predictions actually. Yeah, because there's no point analysing Arsenal because it'll make me scared. So if I just go through Brighton instead and say, look, we ain't got Caicedo. Do you think it will be Gilmore? Because I think that's the general take, is it's going to be Gilmore. I couldn't imagine anyone else steps up unless he chucks Moran in there like he did in the Cup, but I doubt it. No. I think that's probably it for analysis-wise. Have we gone through pretty much every player, haven't we?
I think also if he were to put Moran in instead of Gilmore, I think Gilmore would not be too... I think the atmosphere in the team would be like, what the hell? Like, why is Gilmore not playing?
Yeah. I have one more thing, actually, because I saw it this morning. Alex McAllister has been linked to Dortmund, and Leandro Trossard has also, according to Ben Jacobs or something, I can't remember his name, some journalist, a Chelsea journalist, he said that, I don't know whether this is true, so really take this with a pinch of salt, because it could be just like complete waffle. But it says here that Leandro Trossard's agent has sort of been out trying to drum up interest for him, and apparently he's been talking to the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Chelsea, but Liverpool have no interest in him, and Chelsea are not sure yet, and there's other people that they're interested in.
Yeah, Liverpool just signed Gakpo.
So whether they've got to get Gakpo, so I doubt they'll go there. And I don't think I like Leo, but I don't think he's good enough for Liverpool, if I'm honest. So Chelsea, what would you think there? I mean, if he went to Chelsea, would you be worried? I mean, they seem to be back at it again for any of our players, but if we get like 15 million plus Colwill, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
I don't know if they are.
If it was that kind of deal, I'd be happy with it. But I'll be honest, I don't think I'd be that annoyed really, because I'd be like, he's good, and he's very good for us. But I think as soon as he goes like somewhere else and like a big team, I just don't think he'll do well. I generally don't think he'll do well. I don't know why.
It won't be the same.
I get that weird vibe too.
Yeah.
Also Chelsea
here is like
Chelsea are buying players like Nkunku. They're linked with João Felix. Like I don't know why they would get Trossard. You can say it's because he can play left wing back, but they've got Chilwell and Cucurella.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense for them.
The only thing would be if they're trying to do a power move over Brighton. That's literally the only reason it makes sense. Other than that, I can see it. I just don't get how he would improve their team, if I'm honest. I like Leo, as I say, but just don't think he's got that in him to go there. But I don't know. And also, Alexis McAllister's got pick of the bunch at the minute. I think he's linked to Atletico Madrid, he's linked to Borussia Dortmund, and so many other teams. Do you think we'll keep hold of him in January, or do you think it's going to be a tough one?
No.
I'll go you, Maz.
I've said this before, and it's backfired on me. But I'm confident that he'll stay until the end of the season, and then he'll go in the summer.
Yeah, same.
Because I feel like also as well going now is like, I don't know. It's a bit. You might as well just see out the season. And I always said
integrity. He seems like a man of integrity.
Yeah, but we said that about Potter though, didn't we? And look what happened there. So. That's why it's backfired. I was like, I remember I was like, Potter won't leave. He'll leave at the end of the season, 100%. He'll leave. And then he literally left like 6 games later. So
I think Alexis will leave in the summer. I don't think he'll leave in Jan.
Yeah, I don't think he'll leave in January, but you never know. If someone comes in with a ridiculous offer, but I'm so glad that Bloom signed into a 4-year deal like 2 weeks before the World Cup, which was an absolute 5D chess move. So big up.
Yeah, for that. 5D chess.
Yeah, big up Tony Bloom for that. Because that adds like an extra zero to his price tag. Probably not 600 million, but 60 million, 70 million. Like I think easily we can get that for him now.
Caicedo's the one that needs to be getting a contract because it says he's got like apparently he's earning like £3,000 a week. I saw someone tweet saying why is Caicedo only on £3,000 a week? Because he's just broken through. Like he's a youngster for fuck's sake. It's not all suddenly going to be given 60k, is it?
Yeah.
Also, I did see a contradicting thing where he's actually on 15 grand. So I don't know. You always take I never know with these things like
you never know
source is true and how much they actually get paid.
I think with Caicedo, he's still. I love Caicedo. I think he's levels. I think he's fantastic, but I think probably too raw to go to the big club yet. I feel like he would ruin his own career if he went now.
Yeah.
I think that Caicedo genuinely, and I don't mean this because I think that Brighton, and I'm not deluded Brighton fan or whatever, but I genuinely think his best place at the moment for the next year or two is to stay here because it's the best way he can grow. I think that if he's going to go to Arsenal, possibly, but I couldn't see that. Liverpool, I just think that a club of that weight would just ruin him at the moment. I think that 21 years old, you're better off just staying here. That's just my opinion anyway.
I agree.
But I think that's it anyway for outgoings. I can't see Caicedo going. I'd like to hope McAllister doesn't. Trossard potentially. But we'll see. And he doesn't have 6 months left on this deal. If there are any Chelsea fans listening, because that just doesn't make any sense. It's got an extra year. Everyone knows this. I thought we've been over this so many times, but clearly not. Anyway, boys, I think that's it.
Score predictions for Arsenal.
Score predictions.
Score predictions.
Ben, you go there, mate. Have fun with that.
I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2.
Okay,
I'm going to go with...
That's interesting.
2-2. I'm going to go with...
2-2 for the end of 2022.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. Do you know what? 2-1 win, baby. Up the Seagulls.
With nerdy glasses on, I love it.
Yeah, Maz's dad's joined the pod.
2-1 win against the league leaders. Are they league leaders still? I think they are.
Yeah.
They are.
8 points clear City, aren't they? And like 7 points of Newcastle.
Lads, you know what? They're not even going to score. 1-0 Brighton.
They're not going to score?
That's with my heart.
Fair play.
That's with my heart. 1-0 Brighton. Let's go. New Year's. We've had a Christmas miracle. We've had Solly March score from 25 years. Let's have a New Year's celebration. The 1-0 win against Arsenal.
I thought you said 25 yards in years. Both count to it.
Yeah. 25 yards, 25 years since he scored. Yeah, fair play. Yeah. Comments below, boys, just before we go.
March is magic.
We'll sign off.
March is magic.
March Madness.
Magic.
Or March Madness.
Oh, yeah, March
It's not
Madness.
March, mate. It's December.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, March Madness. Could be good.
March Madness. Comments down below.
March Madness. Nice one. Right, boys, you've been a pleasure as always. We'll see you for Arsenal and... Yeah, that'll be the new year by then.
We'll see you in 2023,
Last
We'll see you in next year. I'm going to be a whole new year older by the time I come on here. Wow. All right, well, I'll see you next year.
Well, when's your birthday?
I'm joking. And my birthday's not till Feb. I was just trying to make a New Year's joke.
All right.
Ben...
As you can tell, I'm still.
But my birthday is in Feb, so I'll be a year older in Feb.
Hopefully we'll record an episode before then.
Yeah. Okay.
Peace.
I hope so. Nice one.
Unless...
What a horrendous end to 2022.